Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
It is my pleasure to welcome you all to attend this writing tutor workshop and to join our team of student tutors. My name is Liao. I'm the director of the Center for Academic Literacy. I just want to say a few words before this workshop gets started. And as you all know, this writing tutoring is a new service that our university would like to provide our students to improve their academic English writing skills and to help them become a more effective writer. And you are the first group of tutors that we have recruited. Your academic performance and your previous teaching or tutoring experiences are all very impressive. So we are very excited to see your future success in this position. Although this is just a part-time job for you, we would still like to encourage you to put forth your best work to support your peer students. And I believe you have already chosen your time slots for online tutoring sections, right? Before you start your job next week, we have some policies, guidelines, responsibilities that we would like to go over with all of you. And you may have some, you may want to know some of our procedures and techniques to most effectively help your students and support their writing needs. You may also have some questions you want to ask about this job. So that's why we are here having this workshop today. For the next 3 hours, Christine is going to share with you her expertise and resources about how to become a good writing tutor. Christine is an expert in this area. She has a PhD degree in curriculum and instruction specialized in English education, and she has extensive experience working at a writing center for a university in the United States. So I believe all can benefit a great deal from Christine's insights and experience. So now let's welcome Christine. I hope you all can enjoy this workshop and have some fun working together as a team. Thank you very much.
Okay, so hi everyone, I'm Christine. So I'm really happy that we can gather here together on a Friday morning, which is pretty cool. So, okay. Today we're going to go through some of our introduction of our center, and also we're going to go through like an overview of the program and some of the procedures, the techniques that you will probably use during the tutoring sessions. So, yeah. Okay, so first of all, I would like to give you an introduction of our center. So our center is called Center for Academic Literacy, which we often refer as CAL. So the mission of CAL is to provide scaffolding, support, and resources to ease students into the English-mediated instruction courses in their discipline. So just give you a brief background knowledge about this EMI courses and why we're here. So actually, National Taiwan Normal University was selected as one of the 4 main bilingual universities by the Ministry of Education in Taiwan. So we feel honored to be selected as one of the 4 schools, and we would like to provide more English classes, but in their subject areas. So for example, like biology class, but in English. So during these classes, students will encounter situations like they have to write English reports. Sorry, I really took off my mask. I can't breathe. So they have to take, say, in the biology class, they need to write English papers, but some of them they may need some help with that because they don't know English academic writing that much as much as you do. So that's why we're honored to have you here in our program to help those students, to provide this kind of scaffolding for them, to support them through this kind of situation during this transition to become a bilingual university. So we're happy that we have tutors that are proficient in English as well as knowledgeable in their in different disciplines like specialization. So that we can provide scaffolding to help students to learn academic English writing. So this is not just for general English writing. It's not like we're asking students to write a diary or something like that, but more like support them through how to write English reports. Okay, so the next thing is about our values. So there's different ways how we position our tutors, their relationship with the students. And what we really want to focus on is we want to invite tutors like you to really become students' writing partners. So it's not like a hierarchy thing, like you're not the authority and they're like passively listening to what you're saying. But what we're trying to do is we want to provide a session that's more dialogue, like engage students with more like to initiate more conversation with the students. So through the tutoring sessions, we want to ask students a lot of questions. And what kind of questions can we ask? We're going to talk more about the type of questions that that you can use during the sessions to help them to think about their own writing. And eventually, the most ideal situation would be to help them to really think about their writing, and they can be able to correct their own writing issues to some degrees. So we're not just we don't want to just help them to do proofreading and correct their grammars, but we really want you to help them to think about their writing. In the long term, they can help to solve their writing issues. That's the most ideal situation. So this is why we want to highlight this, because in most of the writing center in the United States and also the writing center that we do have in Taiwan, we all have this kind of policy. We don't just do proofreading, we don't do translation for the students. So in this situation, like, student will come to you and say, I have really bad grammar. Can you help me to correct all my grammar issues during the sessions? Then in this kind of situation, what you can do is that I can go through your paper. I can tell you some of the main issues, like the grammatical issues or errors that you do have, say pronoun issues. And then we can walk through some of the specific mistakes, but I'm not going to correct all of your mistakes on my end. You're going to be responsible for finding your own errors after I talk to you about you have this kind of situation. So your role is more like a facilitator or like guiding them to understand their own writing instead of doing the proofreading for them. So this is something that we do want to focus on during the tutoring sessions. Okay. So this is the service that we told students that we're going to provide. So when they come to you, they might have some questions about, like they would, like normally, Linda, like you said in the interview, like a lot of students will come to you and say, hey, I have this paper for my class, but I don't have any ideas how to write this paper. So in this situation, what you can do is to ask students about what kind of paper is it, and what are some of the expectations from the professors. So you can see, okay, so what is the purpose of the paper, what is the goal of the paper, how can we think about some of the bullet points to help you to write the paper. This kind of situation, so that would be the brainstorming ideas and outlines, and also the drafting part. And some of the students might come to you and they do have like a writing, like some part of the writing, like a paragraph, or they do have a paper for you, and they would like to revise some of the specific content, either organization or like specific word choice. So in that kind of situation, you might be asked to help them to do with revising as well. And I don't think this is too common in Taiwan, but sometimes they will have like annotated bibliography, like they have this reference list with some kind of key points to highlight some of the findings towards specific topic. So this might be another options that they might come to you and ask your help for. And also, what you can do is to provide them with some kind of like writing tools. So we're going to talk about like plagiarism checkers and also like proofreading software. We're not doing proofreading for them in this case. So we're providing them with all these resources for them to help themselves throughout the writing process. And they may also have some kind of specific writing questions and concerns, so that is time that you can tell, you can show your expertise in writing. So for the type of feedback, so for like brainstorming ideas, here are some of the things that you can think about. For example, do they have this thesis statement, like a core concept of their paper? Or do they have a fine argument or counter argument, like understanding different perspective and how they're going to respond to other perspectives? So that will be the counter argument. And also like the basic thing is like topic sentence and supporting evidence, this kind of situation. So you can go through them and look for these kind of like broader idea issues. And also the organization, because sometimes I feel like they do have really good ideas, but it's kind of like at the end it's just going to different directions. So that is the time you need to pull them back and say, hey, you say something in the first paragraph, but I don't see it in the following paragraph, so what happened? Let's do it, like walk through the paper together. And also there's the most common thing that you might be asked is about the language issues, including like grammar issues, also punctuation, spelling, etc. So there's different things that you might be asked to provide feedback with. So actually I provide, so I found this, I'm going to provide something. So just the information beforehand, I'm going to talk through about this, but this is cheat sheet from my old university, from University of Buffalo. They do mention about when you're talking to Mandarin speakers, there's some writing issues they do have, not just because they're like stupid or something, but sometimes it's because like different language transfer. So that's why we want to highlight this to you to see sometimes they have certain issues. It might be because of some kind of patterns instead of individual issues, but it could be individual issues as well. So you can refer to this writing cheat sheet as well. And so now I want to give you more information about like the tutoring program, like the specific hours and also the shift and the money that you'll get after doing different sessions. So our working hours is from 9 to 5, and we do have two shifts in one day, so it's 3 hours per shift, so from 9 to 12 or from 2 to 5 in the afternoon. So I believe that you all sign up for different time slots, and we're going to look at that later to make sure everyone got the right shifts. And for the salary, it's going to be like $500, but it's only only when you get scheduled by a student, then you will get $500. When you complete the whole tutoring sessions, say like you might have like 3-hour shift, maybe tomorrow in the morning, but if you only get one student scheduled for your session and you complete that session, you'll get $500 because you got scheduled for one student session. So instead of paying you by the schedule, the shifts. So is it clear? Yeah, because I don't want to like make any confusion about like, oh, I signed up for like 3-hour shift, but why did I only get paid by 1 hour? So just want to make sure we're on the same page.
Can I quickly ask?
Sure.
With the sheets, I know we sign up for the specific sheets, but
yes.
If we get like a assignment or a case, like an interpreting position, like a job, maybe 5 days before, can we still reject a booking of that session that we sign up?
Can you say it one more time?
所以就是如果我们假设礼拜2早上，然后前1个礼拜收到有就是口译的 case， 礼拜2。哦，那这样子的话是可以拒绝学生说刚好那个礼拜不行。
Unfortunately. Because I think when students sign up for your session, there might be two situations. One is the time is convenient for them, and then the second situation is they really want your help because you focus on specific areas. Like you have certain like specialization, like maybe they're from the science department and they would like to get some advice from someone who knows science and writing at the same time. So if we do change like their time slots to different tutors, they might have issue with that. Like I want to schedule with this tutor, but why do you change the tutor to someone else?
Okay, for them to sign up to the following week.
No, because this should be like, we want to make it as a fixed schedule for the students, so we don't really accept tutors like taking day off during their session that they said they can do the shifts.
What about sick leave?
Huh?
Sick leave?
Sick leave?
So you guys can get sick.
Oh yeah, that would be fine because we do understand there is some situation that we will have some emergency situation. But other than that, we don't really encourage tutors to take days off, especially for other purposes, other than emergency situation. Yeah. So here's the no-show policy. So we also consider the worst case scenario. We don't want this to happen, but there might be a chance for this situation to happen. So when students come to you, like say if they book a session with you, and then you we only want the tutors to wait for 10 minutes because it's going to be Google Meet virtually meeting. So if they don't come to the session after 10 minutes, like say they schedule for 9 o'clock, but you don't see them until like 9:10, then it will be considered as no-show. So if they do no-show, then we'll still pay you like half of the scheduled hour because we believe some of you already do some homework, like looking through their paper and like looking for writing issues. So we want you to be rewarded by this kind of effort instead of getting punished by like students who did not show up in the session. So we'll still pay you half of the price if you get scheduled by a student, but the student did not show up in the session. So yeah, this is just the worst case scenario. We don't really want this to happen, and if students do not show up in this kind of session for too many times, we'll have punished, sort of like a punishment. Like if they don't come to the session for 2 times, they cannot schedule or not book a session for a month. So yeah, so we do have some policy for them, but just on the tutors end, we want you to know that you'll still get some compensation, even they do not show up in your session as scheduled. So, and for the tutors, we do have no-show policy. This is just the worst case scenario as well, but we want to say it, we want to talk about it beforehand so we're on the same page. So if the students could not come to the session, like emergency situations, we would like you to tell us in advance so we can arrange another tutors. Or we do have some like last minute tutors that could help you with that, but it's going to cause some kind of like problems and inconvenience for other tutors. So we do appreciate if you do have some kind of emergency like sick leave, or you were having a car accident or some kind of this kind of emergency situation, or it's typhoon day and you were trapped in somewhere that you could not do the session, then please let us know in advance, and we're going to arrange new tutors for the sessions. But if you do not show up, but the students are already there during the sessions, that will be really awkward. So we'll have like a grace period. It's okay if you don't show up once, but the second time we're going to ask you to like stop the service. Because it's going to cause some kind of inconvenience for the center as well as the students, as well as our reputation as well. So I hope you can understand this kind of no-show policy, but I do believe that you're all very hardworking and very passionate tutors. So I don't think that's going to happen. Just want to make sure that we all know this policy in advance. Yeah. Okay. Any issues with this no-show policy for also students and tutors no-show?
What should we do if we're experiencing Wi-Fi connectivity issues?
That's a really good question. So if you do have some kind of Wi-Fi connection issue, because I know the Wi-Fi here in NTNU is not the best Wi-Fi connection. So if you do need to have really good connection, then you can come to our center. We do have a room next to our office, which is in, our office is at Hu Yilin Er. So 102. We have a room at Uilingi, which is going to be our service area. In the future, we're working on a construction thing, but if you do have connecting issues with doing the virtual meeting, then you can come to me, and we're going to open that room for you. Then it should have better connections to some degree.
So it's a fixed line or like Wi-Fi?
It's going to be Wi-Fi.
Still Wi-Fi?
Yes, unfortunately.
You know, the internet problem on NTU is so well known that when I attended a conference yesterday, the student worker that I had, she graduated from here, and she was like, oh, you should pre-record your panel session, otherwise I probably won't see you halfway. So
that's a smart move though.
So it's very well known.
Yeah. I'm happy that we're well known for something, but not really happy for this one. But we do have like situation like sometimes I have difficulty connecting with the Wi-Fi. Like I would try to do sessions like on there, but I really can't. So I come back to the office and do the session. So if you do have issue with internet connection, then just come to us. We'll figure it out. Yeah. But the good news is we're going to have a new service room, like maybe next semester. We can't tell you when because we don't have like a really clear plan. But hopefully we'll get a new service area next semester, and during that time we won't need to worry about the internet issue. But you may need to come to the service area for tutoring sessions. That's another thing, like a heads up.
So that means when the construction is done, then our sessions will be in person.
Yes. Or hybrid. We want to see like, because we have like Dongguan, Xiaoqu, and some students from there might wish to have this kind of virtual service. It's more convenient for them, so we haven't decided whether it's going to be like all physical in the service area or we will have virtual. So it's all like, we're still planning on that. Yeah. But we'll let you know in advance. So. Oh, this is just another heads up. Like, if you haven't completed the monthly deposit, like the account number, and send it to Charlene, then you might want to do that, so you get paid by, by us. Okay, so I want to give you some more hands-on experience with, because I don't know your experience with Google Meet, so we're going to do a little bit Google Meet tutorial from here, and also our scheduling system. And so this is like a current version that we designed, but we're going to improve after we implement this system for a month. So if you do encounter any issues with like scheduling or working with students, feel free to let us know so we can like change some of the settings as well. So like if a student schedule a session with you, you will automatically receive an email from Google Calendar. So like someone booked my sessions, so the student is Mingxuan. Okay, so Mingxuan booked my session. So we're going to do a session on December 21st from 4 to 5. And then you can join the Google Meet through this link. So, and you'll see some other people who may not be you on this calendar. So this is our center's email. We're going to be there all the time. And then the creator is Aaron. So you'll see him as well because he created this calendar. And this is Mingxuan's Gmail, right? And then this is my email. So you'll see your email, your student's email, the center's email, and also Aaron's email on this calendar. So don't be afraid when you see so many Google accounts here. Okay, so you will receive this email and then you can like go into session through here. And another option is when you go to your Google Calendar. So this is just my December 22nd Google Calendar. So, oh, this is nothing. Okay, just look at these two. So when we put tutors in different shifts, you will see here, like this is the time for you to work in our center. Like from 4 to 5, Christine is going to be the tutor available for this time slot. So you will see this. And then, so this is also something that students will see. And then if someone booked your session, you will see a second booking. So in this booking session, you will see the student's name. That means this is the link or the session that students successfully book your sessions. So if you see this, it doesn't mean that you are booked by a student, but if you see someone's name appearing in the brackets, then it means someone already booked a session with you. You can also check the other schedule as well. So help us to make sure your tutor profiles in English and in Mandarin are correct. And so also we do have a Facebook page, Facebook page. You can scan the QR code, or we're going to show you the Facebook page that we do have right now. So for the Facebook page, we want to give students a platform that's more accessible. So the tone here would be more like from the student's perspective. So our awesome assistant is helping us to build our Facebook page and reaching out to different groups in NTNU and NTNU students. So like in the future, we're planning to maybe do like the introduction of the tutors. Like maybe for like 1 minute, because this is a social media platform, we want to introduce students with our awesome tutors. So maybe we were thinking about like recording your like introduction, like who you are, and you're happy to work with students. This kind of like really brief introduction of who you are to let students know that you're here. Like even we're doing virtually, you're still a real person, this kind of situation. So our awesome assistants might ask your help to record some of the tutor profile introduction in the future, not today. If you don't wear makeup, that's fine when you're prepared. But if you're prepared today, maybe you can record some of the tutors. If you don't need that much makeup, then some of the tutors, if you're available today, then feel free to record it, and we're going before we send it out, we're going to send it to you to make sure we did not do too much editing. That doesn't sound like you. So we're going to send you the video, and also like if we send out some photos or something, we're going to share it with the group. So you'll be prepared for that. So is it okay with everyone? Like we're trying to make sure everyone feel comfortable with that. But if you don't feel comfortable with that, please let us know. We can talk privately. Okay. So this is also the Facebook that we do have, and the line group that we have here. So right now I want everyone to send their contact information. I know you already sent the contact to Charlene, but in case we need to like do last minute contact, it's kind of difficult for us to go through the Google Drive and look through your contact. So please, right now, please send your name, your phone numbers, and the email address that you use the most. So we're gonna either line you or just call you if some kind of last minute situation from the students, or if you have some last minute emergency, we can reach out to you as well. These are just common questions that we'll just briefly answer. Like you'll probably get a lot of questions about grammatical issues and don't know what to write, and help them to really brainstorm about like different ideas. And also the other thing that I'm not really frequently mentioned in the Taiwan's context is about plagiarism. Like Saul also mentioned, there's a difference between paraphrasing and plagiarism. So I really want you to show students about like possibility of like why we will consider something as plagiarism and what is academic integrity, this kind of situation, if they do have some concerns about sources and they don't know how to put separate sources or do citation, and that's the time we can also step in and tell them about this kind of concept. And also, so this is the overview of our program. So training is important. So today we're doing this orientation training. And then we're going to have this kind of ongoing training workshops at least once a semester, once a semester. So, and then for the tutoring session, our session will be an hour long. And during this 1 hour session, first of all, you're going to do the session with the students for 50 minutes. So right now we're only working on the writing tutoring, but in the future, we're hoping to provide students with kind of oral presentation tutoring sessions. If we do have that service, we're going to ask you if you're interested in being part of the tutors for that section as well. So if we have any updates, we'll let you know. But right now we're focusing on the writing as our piloting, when we're piloting the whole system. And so during the 15 minutes, you're going to talk through all the writing concerns, issues with the students. And for the last 10 minutes, I want you to complete the tutoring notes, which we're going to send you the link. And while doing it, so this is the time that you will tell students, while for the last 10 minutes of the session, I'm going to write some notes regarding our session. And while I'm doing this, please fill in the student satisfaction survey. So at that time, you need to provide them with a link for the student satisfaction survey, which we're going to also provide you with. So we're going to give you the link for the 2 notes. So one is for you, the other one is for students to fill in, so that we can receive feedback from the students as well as you to record the stuff, like some of the highlights of the session and also your challenges. I'm going to show you the link afterwards if we have time. And for the evaluation, so we want to make sure we provide high quality service to the students, and also we don't want the tutor to take solo responsibility to all the tutoring session and students' feedback. So we're going to do some evaluation, and all these procedures are common evaluation procedures used by all the writing centers. So if you're familiar with teaching, from the education field, a lot of time we do teaching observation. So basically, we want to make sure that you follow some of the procedures and you have really nice interaction with the students. And also, we also want to know how the students usually respond to this kind of session, because this is all really new to us. We think students will react in one way, but we don't know in reality. Maybe they're they might not want to talk about their paper or something. So through this session, it's not just the evaluation of your practice, but more like how students respond to this kind of service as well. So please don't feel nervous when we're trying to say oh, we're going to record the session. It's not just about you. So it's more for us to help us to understand the whole situation and how we're going to plan the next step. And then the other thing that is going to be part of the evaluation is the student satisfaction survey. So here, student will complete the survey with you, and then it's like a 5-question, really easy, how kind is your tutor, how professional is it, do they provide constructive feedback, do they help you to plan how to revise your paper, this kind of questions. So this is an easy question, but students might have different reactions, the survey might be kind of subjective in one way, so this is not the only way that we're going to evaluate you. So if they give you really bad evaluation, it doesn't mean that you're out of the program. So we're going to have, if we have this recording, we can also refer to that as well. So this is just another source for us to know about how to improve our next step. And also we will ask you to fill in your self-evaluation survey. So after the tutoring notes, you'll have a really quick self-evaluation survey, how professional you are. So the same question as the one that filled by the students. So this is from your own perspective as well. So these 3 will be the main way that we evaluate our service and also students' responses. And then meetings, like we said, after maybe 1 month of service, we can come together and talk about some of the challenges, how we're going to solve problems together, because what we're trying to do here is we want to create this kind of community that we all share our struggles and our strategies that can really help us to improve our service. So the meeting is meant to help us to really know how we can do things better. And so here's the more detail. So if you're interested in the student satisfaction survey, you can just scan the QR code here, and here's the tutoring notes and the self-evaluation survey. And the 2 links we're going to send another, or just put it in the line chat, so you'll have all these access when you're doing the sessions. Please remember to fill your own tutoring notes. So for the last 10 minutes, you have to fill in the tutoring notes and the self-evaluation survey, and ask students to complete the student satisfaction survey. So there's the 2 surveys that you will need for the last 10 minutes of your session. And then also for the recording part, we were talking about the technical, how we're going to do it. So we're going to send you another email. But if we cannot ask you to record the session on your own, we might send someone who can record the session to your session. Like if you tell us in advance, oh, today is my second session and I would like to record this session, but I can do it on my own, then we might send Aaron or me or someone who can record a session to record it for you. So no need to worry about the technical issue. But this will also help me to, for me and Dr. Our director to really understand how we can improve things better. Okay, so right now I want to, so we talked about some of the ways to engage students in this kind of dialogic tutoring process. I also have some kind of, I also provide you with some kind of, so if you look at the handout, it's in your handout as well. I'm not going to go through all the things because I have a chart that sort of combining all these together. So these are just really quick things that you can think about when you're looking at students' paper, which type of paper is it, and how you're going to help them to achieve that goal. For example, if it's more critical, you can just look through if they have this perspective and if they share their own perspective when they're doing different kind of academic writing. So you can also refer it, look the original sources from, I think it's Sydney University. They have the full explanations about what are the 4 types of writing. And also here are the common writing issues, like we said, writing, the grammar, and also like drawings, and also audience purpose. And also there might be some disciplinary differences, and also some writing supports. So here are the writing support and resources. So if students come to you and don't know how to do, say they want to check how to use certain preposition, then you can ask them to do like a corpus tool. So this is really easy. So NetSpeak is really easy. There's only 5 operators. You can search for one word. You can search for synonyms. So if students have this kind of question and they would like you to suggest them with some kind of tools, then feel free to use those suggestions for like proofreading, grammar checkers. You don't have to use these if you have your own platforms, and we welcome you to also share those resources with us, and we can maybe combine it in a file and share with all the tutors in the future. Okay, so this is just a cheat sheet that we just mentioned, and now is the tutoring procedures, and I would like to focus on this procedure. So there are 8 steps in total, and you can turn, so you can turn to your page 6. So the reason that I want to focus on this tutoring procedures is because we want all, even though we all have our style and ways of approaching to students, we want you to have the same procedure so that students will know, okay, even today I went to Aaron, or if I go to Linda, we'll all be greeted by the tutor and we're all having the opportunity to explain what our writing is about. So we want to have this kind of procedure to make sure no matter which tutor that students select, they will get the same procedures. So in the evaluation, like the recording of your tutoring session, this will be something that we focus on, like do you do those 8 steps? And if you do that, then we know that we're on the same page, and that's really good for us. So that's just walk you through the process. So the first part is like Saul also mentioned, like we want to read the students and like build that relationship with the students. So give a little bit small talk to them, asking them whether they're having a class today, are you tired, this kind of situation. And then you can ask students to do a brief introduction of the paper and talk about their writing issue. So what is this paper, like which class is it from, and what kind of writing issues do you feel difficulty when you're trying to develop idea, or is it hard for you to identify grammatical issues? So just talk through about their writing issues and what the paper is about. And then the second part is you can identify, like we said, there's different kind of academic type of writing, like we just mentioned, or what are the purpose of the paper, whose audience, is it for the seminar or is it just for a class? So you can talk about the goal, the purpose, what type of writing. And then for the checking part, that's important, like you gather all these information, what the paper is about, who's the student. And then the next thing is you want to rephrase what students' writing issue and set a goal for the session. So say so you're working on a paper for your biology class, and you would like to work on the organization of the paper in today's session, right? So make sure they are on the same and you have the same goal for today's session. Just set a goal for this session. And then the next part will be you reading through the paper, and some people might do it in advance if they want to prepare. Then this part might be, they will have less time spending on the reading part. And then this will be the most important part, is to really discuss the paper with the students, like what are the strengths and the weakness of the paper. So always give them some like encouragement before giving them criticism, like any criticism. So you can ask clarification question, like what do you mean by this sentence? Can you tell us a little bit more about what you want to say in this sentence? Can you explain more about something? Here's my suggestion, what do you think? So ask them about their feedback through the process, and does it help to revise your paper? And then for the closure, before you give them the survey, ask them about their plan for revision, like what are some of your plans? What's your next step? How are you going to revise the paper, so they know how to revise the paper? And for the tutor, the last 10 minutes, you'll complete your the tutoring notes, and also student will complete the satisfaction survey. And then we're going to provide the links. So for the procedures, anyone have any questions about any of the 8 procedures? Okay, so should be until we have like freshman English, and they have like different levels of proficiency. And I have all the writing sample from the most advanced students, so you can check if they're the advanced students. This might be their level. For the undergrad, so like I have 4 writing samples. You can look through it and see if you can help them to think about how to do different revisions. So like for Amy's sample, I will probably talk more about some of the spelling, the word choice, the grammar, the transition. Like the last 2 sentences, I feel like there's like a transition. So this might be something that I will probably work with her. And for Ben, I will probably talk more about spelling, word choice, transition as well. And for Cindy, like here, this is more like a transfer from Mandarin. So this might be something that I'm going to talk about. And for David's example, this is really short compared to others, so I'll probably help him to expand the idea. So these are just some samples for you to think about what are something that you might be able to work on, but unfortunately we don't have time to do that. And for the self-directed training on the last page of your handout, so we don't have time for this as well, but these are the resources that we feel like it could be useful for your tutoring session. So feel free to check those websites and also YouTube videos if you want to learn more about one-on-one teaching or academic writing tutoring. And yep, that's pretty much for our tutoring sessions. So any questions or concerns so far?